Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Recall Podcast. My name is MARISOL ACEVEDO, and this is my side of the story. See, ministry sometimes is not always roses. It's trials, it's ups and downs. It has its good moments, but with my husband sharing his side, I wanted to share what was going on in my heart at that time. See, we were youth pastors at a point in time, and my husband felt a tug to go to New York. Um, I didn't want to go back to New York because I was born and raised in New York, and I was like, I already know the hustle and bustle of it. It's busy. We have two small boys. Like, I didn't even want to raise them there. But if that's what he wanted, we felt like God was saying yes. And so doors opened up and God provided for us to go there. And so even with that, it was hard because we were trying to find jobs. It was just a lot going on. And then he started really hustling with his music. He was going to school for sound to do, I guess that's what it's called. I don't know. Anyway, to do all those kinds of things. And then he started doing worship at a church. And so, again, things started getting very busy for us. And even before that, I felt alone in the marriage many, many times because it felt like he didn't really want to help and he didn't want to help with the kids and clean and cook and do just regular things that a man should help in the house. But just even being present with me, sitting down, talking, and having real conversation. And I was struggling with mental issues as well. Struggling with depression, struggling with anxiety, struggling with my past, still struggling with lust and wanting attention. And and so now we're in this big city and it's like I need my husband. And a lot of times he was out doing his music, traveling, working on his music at the studio for hours upon hours, and I needed him home. And I always supported him no matter what because that was his dream. That's what he wanted to do. Um, and so yeah, there was times where I was resentful because it was like you get to do what you love, you get to do what you want to do, and meanwhile I'm here and I'm not doing anything that I love. I was at that time we were trying to find work and stuff. So my thing is we need money. So I did hair. I had my cosmetology license. I went to school for it. And also I know how to clean well. So I was cleaning homes and stuff. And so I'm like, man, I'm taking care of our kids, taking them to school, back and forth. And so I'm like, I need love. I need attention. And, you know, it I can't blame him because he chose, because I'm the one that's choosing this as well. And in my heart, I felt like he was cheating on me. I had dreams. I was like, what's going on? I felt very insecure. I felt like things were happening behind the scenes, but it's like deep in your gut, but you really don't know what's going on. And it was just like, in a sense, like it was a warning inside of me, but I didn't want to believe it. And so um, I can remember one morning, um, again, waking up early. He had to, I forget if he was going to work or somewhere, either to school, and his phone went off, and I went and checked it, and it was a girl's number. Well, like two or three of them. on there, and the one was like, "Oh, I had a good time last night," blah blah blah, and I was like, what's this?" And so I got really angry, and I started looking at all his messages and trying to go into his emails and things like that, because I'm like, I can't believe this is really happening before my eyes, and I needed to be calm simply because my children were there, and I didn't want them to know what was going on. I was trying to protect them, and because it's not their fault that their parents are not in the right standing with one another, and what's happening in the background. And so I tried to remain calm. I spoke to him, confronted him, and he was trying to deny and say all these lies. So I took the kids to school, and then we had conversation, but he was telling me semi truths, and I was like, this is painful. But in the meantime, I was, in a sense, my heart was, well, I'm already talking to someone too, but it was more so of like flirting, talking. Wasn't We weren't doing anything, and it was more so just to give that attention and to talk. And I found myself slipping and slipping, and at that point, when I was finding out this, I was like, this is still not right, you know. Um, and I was so broken inside. And it was crazy because the night before, I had seen something. I had commented on somebody's I think Facebook page or whatever, and my mom knew that I was upset about something, and she was like, Marisol, men are gonna be men, and I was like, Mom, Eric's not like that. And then the next day I find out. So um, I think with ministry, with life, with children, we're still struggling with lust. It got the best of both of us because it wasn't only him, and I felt myself pulling away. He felt himself pulling away, and instead of really being real with one another and really telling each other the truth and how we really felt, we hid it from each other. Because I think in a sense we were fearful. In a sense, like it was like if we are real with one another, um, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen to our marriage? What's gonna happen to our children? So a lot of times we felt like we were just roommates. We were just with each other because of the kids, and that's not healthy either. Even at that time, our sex life wasn't healthy either, and so that's a clue as well. Because if your sex life isn't healthy, then there's something going on with communication wise. There's something that is not being said and done. And so, anyway, um, way before that, I started talking to someone, like I said, and it was crazy because my heart was being pulled because I just wanted that attention. I just wanted someone to validate me. I just wanted someone to make me feel like I felt I was wanted. And so I said at one point, which I don't know why, but I was crazy to say it. And I was like, I wish my husband would just cheat on me. And I didn't even say it out loud. I said it in my head. You gotta be careful what you feel and say and think. Because when it came to pass, I was in shock. I was devastated because of the content that was happening, and it was multiple women. And then we were trying to work this out and talk with one another, because I was like, we have to work this out. We have children. We've been married for so long. Like, how can we not? And his heart was pulled to these chicks, and I had to let them know, like, you caught. Don't contact them no more. This one chick kept on being slick. I was like, no. And then the other chick kept on hitting me up and trying to tell me things because I wanted to know. I wanted to know, did y'all go all the way? What happened? So eventually it came out, and I couldn't believe it because I'm like, here I am. I'm just talking to someone. I didn't no kiss, no nothing. And here you go doing that. And now I'm feeling like, okay. And I told him, I said, one more time, I'm going to give you another chance. If I see something, that's it. And so I did again. And at that point, I kicked him out because I'm like, you're not going to learn your lesson. You're just going to keep on doing whatever you feel like. You're not honoring me. You're not God. You're not honoring God. You're not honoring our marriage, anything like that. And so, um, the pastors that we were under, they did sit him down. We tried to talk. Um, they tried to help us. But in reality, it was us really trying to work it out and allowing God to fully come into our lives. And even before that, I was like, man, forget this. I'm just gonna go all the way now since he did it. He don't care. But I couldn't. I could not. I could not. I could not. It God intervened. God was like, no, I didn't go like that. I didn't do that. But what I'm saying is that, oh, I might as well kiss him, or I might as well, be out with it. And God was like, no. And so after that, my eyes were awakened. And I was like, we really need to work this out. And so God started tugging at our hearts. God started dealing with our hearts. God started healing our hearts. And we had to be so real with one another and tell each other what were things that we disliked from each other. What were the things that push us away from each other? What are the things that we were dealing with in our hearts and our minds? And that's when we started to become closer and closer. I had to learn how to trust him all over again. That's a whole another story in itself because it took a few years to really, really trust him with everything. And so, a lot of times people don't like talking about this stuff because it is touchy. It is like I could talk about it to this day and not cry about it because I'm healed from it. Did it hurt all that stuff? Absolutely. At that moment, was I devastated that I found out that, he had sex with another woman in my home and all these things? Absolutely. But I'm telling you, when you put the work in, and you allow God to heal you, you forgive that person with everything that you have. I'm not saying if you struggle with infidelity, listen, your marriage could work, but it has to take two people. It can't only take one person. You can't always keep on rescuing that one person. You have to have faith. You have to exhaust all your outlets to get therapy, get counseling, whatever, get deliverance, get all those kinds of things. But if it doesn't work and you've tried your best, and then it is what it is. You have the right to get a divorce. But in our case, we wanted to work it out because we knew God put us together for a reason. And if we did not work it out, we would have never had our beautiful baby girl. We would have never had Connection Church. We would have never started something that so many lives were impacted through this ministry. And so there is a dark side to ministry, but simply because people choose not to get deliverance, people choose not to get healing because they hide and they're scared. And some pastors are afraid to even say anything because people go and gossip. People don't help them, but what they do is throw them under the bus. But I want to speak to that pastor. I want to speak to those leaders or whoever that might be struggling with lust or infidelity. They might be struggling with perversion, whatever it is. Pray. Ask God, send me to someone that I can trust. Send me to someone that I know that can help me through this. Because yeah, God could help you, but he put people here on this earth to help us as well. And so I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to look look to the Lord, but also get help. There's hope. There's hope. There is life after infidelity. There really is. And I pray that um, that your heart will be softened. I pray that God fully that you allow God to fully heal you, because He could heal you. It's up to you to fully forgive and to let go. And that's my story. So now our marriage is beautiful. I'm not saying that we don't struggle. I'm not saying that we don't argue or anything, because stupid things do happen. But what we've learned is to not get offended, to not be so defensive, to learn to forgive, to learn to say sorry, to learn how to communicate in a healthy way. And our marriage has excelled in so many beautiful ways. And also, we've learned to throw out religion. We've learned to relearn who God is in our lives. And the more that we found who God is, the more we fall in love with Him, the more we fall in love with each other. And so it's possible. It's work, but it's possible. And so I just want to encourage you to continue to watch the Recall podcast, because you're going to get some nuggets. You're going to get some real things that is going to help you with life, but also you're going to get biblical truth, sound doctrine you're going to get. And so I'll see you soon.